Hello, everybody. It's me, lindsie-rodgers. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I haven't been on here for the last video I posted was 3 weeks ago. I went to try to put up new videos, but apparently I ended up forgetting. Ouch. So I know what you guys are wondering. Am I alright? And the answer is yes, I am. It's just that I've been trying to figure out what's been going on the last couple of weeks since the last thing I posted. And sure enough, I will explain. So apparently, my mother ended up going to the hospital again, and I know what you guys say. What is it this time, Lindsie? Or why is she going to the hospital again? Well, I mean, the reason why was her stomach was bothering her, and it turns out she has gas. The worst thing yet of all is, how do I say this? The people at the hospital accused my mother of the reason why her stomach's bothering her is because of smoking and drinking. Really? So you want to accuse my mother, I'm like, who just didn't do it, who just been working in the last year, in which I'm starting to think it may be something else going on, but they accuse her of smoking and drinking. It's been 20 years since she last smoked. Okay? Okay. Yes, since 2000. It could be a little bit, I think it was 20 years. And the reason why? Oh no, wait, yeah. And the reason why she had stopped smoking is because the advice of a good friend, and who was at that time her doctor. Not the doctor that we currently have. But the reason why I said that is because it's true. She told my mother, said, I think you better stop smoking because that will hurt you in the long run. She said, okay. And the reason why she started to smoke was because she was under stress. Because she was worried because my father was being a complete idiot. My brother was in the hospital. And as for me, I was just I guess fine. Not really. I was more worried about my brother as much, but at least I still had to go to school. But that was it. Sorry for my hair being messy like that, because I pulled my head back, and now you get to see this. Anyway, so, yeah. And they accused her of drinking so much. Alright, there was only one time she drank so much, and that was about 10 years ago. Though I think it was around 9 years ago, and that was in 2012. And the reason why I remember this is because I was there and I was scared half to death. And you want to know why? Let me explain. It was one weird summer night, and I should have saw the signs. My mother says, oh, I don't need to eat something. Sure enough, she ends up starting to drink it. And I do blame this on her friends and to influence her. Yes, and you can say this, peer pressure. Not really peer, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, she started drinking the Miller Lights 64s with rum and lime. I should have saw this happening. That she shouldn't have drinks being mixed. And then of course the Coronas as well. I'm like, sure enough, she was drunk. I drank only my usual amaretto and any lemon lime soda. Which, by the way, guys, I'm just sending you a warning. Anybody who gets this idea from me, please do not do this. just be responsible and just drink, but not so much, okay? But the reason why I'm warning you guys about this is because I don't want anybody under the age of 21 to drink like this. I don't want anybody over the age of 21 drink like that because because I'm very much angry about this, and I just don't want anybody to get harmed for this. I don't want to find out it's my fault when the fact is it isn't. But anyway, so where was I? So yes, and even though I also had food, I tried to get her food. She ended up refusing because she was already wasted, and it's really ridiculous. This now, if somebody would tell me, saying, "Oh yeah, maybe her drinking so much at 8, 9, 10 years ago would do that," would affect her stomach now, I'm like, yeah, and that was only it. The other times she will drink occasionally, but that's it. She didn't do that crazy drinking since. Because she ended up learning her lesson. And I know what you guys are saying, how the heck did you get home that night, Lindsay? Well, let's just say some good friends ended up helping us get home. One of them ended up putting my mom in his truck, and the other one, and which is our gay friend, she ended up driving me home in our family's vehicle, and I was glad because I was scared. I was not even buzzed. I will say that. That I remembered this because of it. And sure enough, I was really much worried about my mother getting home. And that's why. And I do thank both of them for helping us and make sure they got home, because I never seen my mother drink so out of control. Oh. And it was really freaked me out. Of course, my mother ends up getting much out of this, and she slept. And when the next day happened, I told her what happened, and she couldn't believe it. And that was it. I mean, sure enough, I'm like, I can't, and I'm like thinking, how does that happen? The other thing, like, the reason why they accused her of probably drinking so much is the other thing that's make me think is the kombucha, maybe it's because of the probiotic drinks. If you guys don't know, I drink, even though, I mean, I never felt drunk when I've been drinking probiotic drinks and eggs or kombucha drinks, and I heard that they do have some alcohol, but not really. I don't really taste it. But yeah, maybe that's the reason why her stomach's acting so weird. It's probably because she drank so much. I mean, she always tells me, "Oh, my stomach's hurting," and like, okay, get your Kavita drink. She drinks it, so like, oh, my stomach's feeling better. I mean, maybe that's the reason why she could end up having a backup. And like, I don't know. I mean, seriously. I'm like, whoever told my mother that's because of smoking or drinking, I like to speak to them and say to them, are you that stupid at accusing an elderly woman and who has to take care of her 36-year-old daughter who has so much anxiety because of drinking or smoking? She hasn't smoked in 2 decades. She's been told that by a friend who was her doctor at that time. And the drinking? She only had a binge drinking one night, and due to peer pressure. Because her freaking so-called friends then ended up drinking her under the table. And I don't mean that literally, but you know the saying. She drank so much that she was so drunk, I was worried we would never make it home. But it wasn't for good friends, and they make sure of that. Now, if you think it's because she drinks so much kombucha or probiotic drinks like Vita, then fine. Right. But they said to her, "Oh, it's not your gallstones." I'm like, what? How is it not her gallstones? I'm starting to doubt what they're saying. I know when she goes say, "You need to follow the science, Lindsay." Yeah, I know, but this is ridiculous, really. Accusing somebody who hasn't drank in a long time, yeah, nice try. She'll occasionally drink, but she won't drink so much. Because I need her to stay much sober than being drunk. Alright? I know I'm starting to show you guys how that's happening. But yeah, otherwise, I'm starting to end up having anxiety. And yesterday got the worst for me because I did not want to get up. I was so exhausted, even though like I am right now, but I think but the worst thing yet of all was I nearly felt like I almost fat shamed myself. And I know most of you guys say, "Oh, Lindsay, you shouldn't be fat shaming yourself." I'm like, yeah, I did, because I can fat shame my own self because I am fat. And nobody should say I shouldn't, because somehow it just makes me feel better. But but yeah, I mean, seriously. I know most of you guys thinking, no, that's not self-love. No, what self-love is, sometimes you have to be tough on yourself. Just not too much, I should say. But anyway, and I've freaked out because because I just didn't know what I was thinking so much. I mean, maybe because I'm really upset because of what's been going on with my mother. I mean, it's not just because her going to the hospital. I mean, worst thing yet of all is she ended up, which is somehow my fault for a reason. She lost her balance and somehow she hit her head on the street, and I was worried she was going to I was worried she was going to die. And somehow she felt okay. Somehow she got up. I was like, you shouldn't be doing that. And she did. She went right to the car. I ended up getting all the laundry, the rest of the laundry, mostly in the car, and then get the rest out of the dryer at the laundromat. And sure enough, we ended up going home. And sure enough, I freaked out. And now she ended up having a bump on her head. Now it's just like, I don't know, some kind of bruise mark. I don't know, and it's ridiculous. And the last couple of days or so, she's like, it hurts, but I'm fine. I'm not dizzy. I'm like, you had your head hit. I'm worried. I mean, part of me feels like, she needs to go back to the hospital again. And it's like, no, I'm not going back to a hospital, not for hitting my head. I'm like, but I know what you guys are saying. How's she alright? I'm like, I don't know, really. But I read this, I guess she's fine, but, this just makes me worried. And that's why I end up having so much of meltdowns and stuff. I try not to cry as much, but anyway, and believe me, I'm trying my best to get into the swing of things again, but dealing with so much anxiety, worried about my mother, it's crazy. I know what you guys are going to say, everything will be fine. Is it really? Anyway, I mean, in this whole entire year, she ended up going to the hospital, well, for herself, 2 times. She has been in the hospital 3 times because the first time was because of my brother and his stupid gout. Yeah, can't believe that. And it took, 6 hours because nobody on the last shift wanted to see him, and they had to wait until the next shift come in. No excuse. That's very inexcusable. That's very lazy. I mean, and here I am about to say something really crazy. Here I am watching Chicago Med Ed on NBC, and I realized that show, they see more patients since then. On that show, much as real life hospitals, those do. And believe me, I mean, there's because it's the emergency room department. And, they see them right away because they're either being brought in and by ambulances, or they are brought in, or people walking in, and that's how it is. Really. And they see them right away. They're not lollygagging and or anything. And they do it so fast. Yeah. I mean, you won't believe me, just follow my tweets on Twitter. I tweet it every Wednesday night. I mean, especially because, like, what happened this past week's, this, should I say, not this upcoming week, but last week, or past week, I should say, watching Chicago Med, and I nearly laughed my butt off because Dr. Dylan Scott got his dad driving him to work, and I was like, how that happen? his dad is a police officer. I don't know what his rank is. I think probably sergeant, lieutenant, maybe captain. I don't know. Never heard what rank his father has. I think his sister is a detective or an officer. I mean, yeah, because I know that her sister and her dad are still in the Chicago PD. I mean, not like the show. I mean, but they work in the Chicago Police Department, and Dylan is not works for Chicago Med because he decided to switch his career after working Chicago Police Department for a while. Anyway, it was really funny that he got scolded like that. And even though his patients are mostly that of kids, in other words, he deals with all the pediatric stuff. And the reason why is because he got into pediatrics is because the reason why he says that because of a kid they ended up, I guess, saving from a bullet that he carries. And sure enough, I mean, he does well with the kids. Anyway, and he sees all these kids, and I kind of nearly cried because Dr. Scott's patient on Chicago Med, I know it's a show, I know, but had to deal with two brothers. One brother got hurt in the head, and by an actual Nerf gun. Yes, plastic toys like that can really hurt you. And the other and the other brother was actually kind of misdiagnosed. It was claiming to have ADHD, and it turns out he has anxiety. I mean, I don't know why or how, but it made me understood the kid. Because I haven't. But yeah, that's what caused the kid to have these trigger moments. It's because he has an anxiety. And he found his way to calm himself down. But the reason why is he's been taking ADHD medication known as Adderall, and it's supposed to be if you can treat somebody's right with the ADHD, yeah, I mean, but somebody who doesn't have that, it gives you a really of a rush, and make you feel so, like, I don't know, hyper. And that's what caused the brother, which his name was Ryan, to attack his brother Alex. And even though they don't mean that anyway, and sure enough, when he saw, like, he sees his brother, but he feels like it wasn't him. I mean, even though Vanessa says, "Oh yeah, it is your brother," he freaked out, and I don't blame him. I mean, yeah, I mean, if he takes the right medication, yeah, he would have realized that was his brother. And believe me, I mean, poor kid. It made me realize that show is, like, kind of close to me. Because I had anxiety, and it just made him realize that, Ryan feels like he feels bad. No, kid, you're never bad. And I'd say I'll take this to anybody's advice. If you're starting to have some kind of anxiety and have some crazy bad thoughts, just understand. Don't believe what you think. I mean, seriously. I always have crazy bad thoughts. And the worst case yet, I kind of nearly fat shamed myself. But it just made me realize that I'm still alive, number one. And number two, I'm still struggling. But does that give me a right to be angry at myself? I mean, or having so much anxiety? Yeah, I mean, seriously. And it's not much your own fault, you know? And you should feel that you're bad, but you're not really. You're just, like I said last night. No, not last night. As I said on that Wednesday episode, you're just misunderstood. That's how I feel. I said I shouldn't cry, but here I am. Sorry, y'all. So, otherwise that, I've been watching, I know most of you guys are saying, so what else if you're not doing anything? Well, I'm trying to play games, but, crazy as can be. Or otherwise, I'm watching Sigils. Somehow watching him makes me feel much better. And speaking about him, I saw him tweeted yesterday about a party he went on Friday, and his costume. Jeez, I blame this on Henry for it. Somehow there's a running. I don't know who got the idea of this, but I don't know why Henry's to be much blamed, but I think it is. Because his sigils is bald for some reason. They say, I think Henry calls sigils Mr. Clean. Even though I will say this, there is a, how do I say this? There's a TikTok user, I forget what's his name. He's very much popular, and he does all these butt scooting while dressed up as Mr. Clean. And it's really funny to think about that. I mean, yeah, he's like definitely popular on TikTok, and and he gone to the distance with with his eyes. So, I mean, the eyebrows, because of that. So, he took not really, but actually because it was somebody's memeing and slapped Sigil's face onto Mr. Clean body. And and that's what we had. And then Sigil does it in real life, and like, oh dear Lord. I was like, sheesh. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that's much about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Me explaining everything what's going on. And yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you can, please. I don't care if you like this, but I do appreciate the subscribe, because the reason why I get more, if you guys watch the whole entire video through and you also subscribe, it would be helpful, because the more watch hours I get and the more subscriptions I get, the best chance to be remonetized. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Till then. Bye.